not many people from this area were fully engaged. But through the example given at the 1916 Rising, the people of County Louth, the people of North Louth and the people of Knockbridge Parish followed an example of courage, an example of bravery and an example of vision. And it was following that example that decided to organise, to get themselves together, to leave their work, to leave their farms, to leave their families and to take part in the War of Independence and to be members of the Irish Republican Army. And they were proud to do so. And their families and their communities were proud to support them in their actions. Years later, the plaque was erected at this spot to commemorate and to remember and to remind generations afterwards of the sacrifices that were made and still have to be made from then on in. People in Knockbridge Parish remember after Mass on an Easter Sunday, a guard of honour would form in the aisle after Mass and the parish would follow to this plaque and a volley of shots would be fired in memory and in honour of Irish Republican volunteers. Approximately 10 years ago, we decided to reinstate this commemoration, to revive that very act of remembering the Irish Republican Army and her volunteers, and to remember in the proclamation. The plaque had been fallen to rack and ruin. Some 14 months ago, local people came together and decided that the plaque could not be mended, and this replacement was designed and was here 12 months ago on Easter Saturday and Easter weekend. Unfortunately, pressure was brought to bear on officials in local government, and the local parish priest received a threatening letter that the diocese would be fined financially for this plaque being in place. And that letter was taken to a committee, a finance committee in the parish, that included a TD and a current TD's sister. And that committee was packed and the decision had already been made that they were ashamed of our proclamation, that they were ashamed of the words written on this plaque. And pressure was brought to bear to have this monument removed, and it's only back here temporarily this weekend. Because there are still people who are ashamed of the words of the proclamation that Padraig Pearse read out 100 years ago. If they were alive in 1798, they would have been with the Redcoats. They would have arrested Robert Emmet in 1803. They would have taken a bribe and they would have voted through the Act of Union in 1801. Had they been living during the famine, they would have been the bailiffs throwing Irish families off their farms. They are the counter-revolution. They are those who want to keep Ireland but without any equality, but without any socialism and without republicanism. They get a message here today when we have the largest crowd for more than 10 years, remembering with pride the words of our proclamation. And they may go into Leinster House, but they know that their time in leadership in Leinster House is well and truly numbered. Because Irish Republicans, we are coming to take our republic and to make our republic real once again. Too many generations in Ireland fought, died. Too many local men and women lay in ditches, lay on the hillsides. Too many families lost loved ones to give it over to cowards, to give it over to sellouts. And today, as we remember 100 years after our 1916 Rising, we all promise that we will see our Republic of the 1916 Proclamation. We are all indebted to the local people who come out every year to make sure that the flag is raised at Easter time, to make sure that the portraits of our leaders are on the graveyard perimeter, and to make sure that the Easter lily is proudly placed around our village. And I want us all to join our hands together in appreciation for that small group of courageous and loyal Republicans. We also have to make sure that we remember local Republicans, just like our own Dermot McAvoy, who has died since we met here last year. Now, what we're going to do for the rest of the weekend, we're going to make our way to Inniskeen for a 2:30 commemoration, and that's going to be in Republican time, so it will be on time. We're also going to be in the dock at 2:30 tomorrow. And also, I'd like to one last announcement, that volunteer Eugene Martin will be dead 20 years in a few weeks' time. And on Friday, the 8th of April, in Sheila Graveyard at 7:30, local friends, family, community members and comrades of Eugene Martin will come together in the graveyard to remember him, and then to go to Naomh Malachy GFC Clubhouse for an Irish night of memory for him. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here, and thank you for doing what some are embarrassed to do. Thank you for being proud of our 1916 rising. Gura Mila Mayogov. And will you come in for a photograph now?